We are back on the YouTube game. Welcome back, my loves. How are you doing? How are we all feeling today? I'm gonna start with the usual subscribe, comment. If you're new to the channel, my name is Lika. I'm a coach and a mentor. I help you live a more empowered, fulfilling, ecstatic, sexy, embodied, compassionate, loving life. And on this channel, I just ramble about things that I've experienced and then go on so many tangents and hopefully try to come back full circle, which is also the name of my podcast. If you ever want to listen to my podcast, it's a place where, you know, for YouTube, I need, oh my God, it's not the focus, is not me. I was too far. Can I stay like that? Okay, cool. Fuck, it's on the, you were seeing like the focus is not working on the camera. Okay, let me fix it. Okay, let me get closer to you. And now it needs to lock the focus. We're doing it, you guys, we're doing it. We're gonna talk about so many things, but all of it is that in that path of growth and becoming better humans. You guys, where do I start with the topic of today? I have been processing and learning so much, and I got into my first internet fight, and I want to use that as a starting point for this video today. So hear me out. I was being a little dragon, which usually happens when I'm bleeding or I'm, in my PMS, and I'm like, I have this inner fire awakening and I'm becoming, I've talked about love and compassion and the heart and being a true devotee to love, but sometimes I'm just a fucking dragon and I have this like passion and fiery energy and everybody pisses me off. And that's an amazing energy to be on. That's why I love being a woman and experiencing cycles and different emotions. Like, it's exhausting, and our society is not built for that. And we don't value it, we don't honor it, we don't respect it, we don't love it. But being a woman is fucking amazing for those fluctuations in our hormones and in our feelings and our emotions. It helps me, those moments help me to burn bridges and to be like just this fire is burning every obstacles and usually like my good girl archetype and people pleaser and wanting to be perfect goes out the window, and I'm just like, I don't give a shit. I just want to be myself. And I go kind of a little crazy and a little unapologetic and just like this big reclamation. So basically I was being a little dragon, and I made the mistakes to reinstall on my phone Instagram. And so scrolling through Instagram and seeing this little short clip of a man, and it's like gym in 2023. I go to the gym every day. I'm such a gym rat, sort of. I just love the gym. I love to train. I love it. I'm obsessed with it. So I have a lot of content around the gym, So it's a funny video. Like, it's not like a mean video per se, but I was being a dragon. So it's like a guy entering the gym, and he's like seeing like there is some very voluptuous women stretching, like deep stretch, like the kind of stretch, like I'm flexible. I was a yoga teacher. I love a deep, sexy stretch, but that was like kind of porn star stretches, I have to admit, on like equipment. Those videos that are so over the top? The description was like, what a creep. And I read the comment section and I was mortified with all those men talking about women in such a degrading way and saying that, I don't know, like just saying the craziest shit. And I've never in my life posted anything mean or angry on the internet. Like, the only time I engage my precious energy and effort and time is always to say, like, to compliment people or to say when I like something. And even that I very rarely do. So but when I do, it's always positive. That was the first time that I was getting like pissed on the internet. And I was like, I didn't recognize myself. Like literally, even the whole day, I didn't recognize myself. Even my dad, I saw my dad this day, my best friend, like people in my life were like, what the fuck happened to you? You're such a dragon today. Like, what the fuck? I was like, I'm so pissed about videos and comments like this. I just, like, did it occur to anyone that maybe, just maybe, women are just at the gym doing their own thing, dressing the way, however the fuck they want, just for themselves, and stretching just for themselves? And oh my god, the replies, like I've never been in an internet fight and debate. As I shared in previous videos, like for me, receiving people's anger and mean, and you know, on the internet how it is, like people can be so mean behind a computer screen because you don't really have the accountability or the physical integrity that is compromised. You know, like if you're in real life, you could fight and you could get in trouble and your physical integrity could be compromised. You don't have that behind a screen, so people are just fucking wild and crazy. But that day I was wild and crazy too. Like I didn't insult anyone, and that was my kind of like angry comment. It was not like go fuck yourself or insults or anything. But for me, I was like, whoa, Lika, I didn't know you had it in you. But anyway, I'm getting like those feedbacks, only men talking about and giving all their opinions. And in the beginning, you know, like the first instinctive, yeah, the primal thing is to like want to defend myself or want to like protect myself. And in the past, when people would disagree with me, I would like block them or not reply to them or ignore them and be like, whatever, I'm doing my life, which I think can be helpful if you're someone, you know, constantly getting into fights and constantly trying to prove yourself. Like just go live your life. When it's like, I don't know, like I just stayed open through it all. And I received, so imagine, it's gym rats, gym bros, mostly from the US. Sorry you guys, but it's a different culture out there. Most of my best friends are from the US. But and online, like on Instagram. So the level of compassion in the way they replied to me was pretty in existence. But you know what? I've learned so much out of it because I stayed open to what they were saying and where they were coming from. And what I've learned just reinforced everything that I'm on the path of right now, which is getting out of my feminism and into fucking loving men and loving the masculine and being more in my feminine, bringing more compassion, bringing more union and unity and humanity into my own life, into my own self, because I believe the work starts with us before we can create a change in the world. And so, you know, like I've seen the hurt in those men. Like I've seen how hurt they were from feminism, and like according to a lot of them, most women are doing that, wearing sexy clothes and stretching sexy to get attention. But then when they get it, they insult people, or they call them creeps, or they just reject them and they call them perverts and stuff like this. And I'm aware that this could be a practice, and I'm like, how fucked up that is. And my point was coming from my place where, especially recently, I've experienced some drama at the gym. I'm not gonna get into that, but I've experienced some drama at the gym. And mostly from being connected to my sensual, flirtatious energy and doing it for me. You know, I don't flirt or I don't feel sexual or sensual for the male gaze or for attention. Or maybe I am in some ways, but I'm not aware of it. It's not conscious. But I've really tried to ask myself that, even because like when someone is saying something that triggers the hell out of me, I'm always trying to pause, stop, reflect, and actually ask myself, you know, like not my ego, my actual self. So there is a part of me that loves to have attention. Like, of course, I love attention. I love connection. I love people. I love when people are caring, and, you know, I love to be loved. Duh. Like, I believe we all do. Some people more than others, but I tend more to be a connector, you know, having a sense of togetherness, and to be more like us, and love and connection, relationships, all of people pleasing, lack of boundaries, lack of sense of I and individuality. And you know, I'm trying to balance it all. But I'm more on this side. So I believe like everyone does, but because like we're creatures of community. We live in tribe. We thrive in tribes and in villages and in like community. So anyway, my friend wrote this amazing poetry, like, and she sent it to me after she had a journey, a ceremony, and she wrote this thing, and I read it a billion times and I cried. And the title of this poetry was, I feel like I'm walking on eggshells in my own body. And that's what I've experienced in myself recently, especially when I go to the gym. That's where I get to practice being in relationship with others and people I don't know, and how I feel in my own body. And I realized like sometimes I want to hold myself like I love myself, or like I feel good in myself. I want to be able to breathe and feel sensual and just be with me in that moment. But I feel like if I do that in public, like I have this constant feeling of like walking on eggshells in my own skin, of like not being able to be like fully myself, to fully be in pleasure, to fully be in love, to fully be in my beauty, because I feel like it's gonna trigger people, I'm gonna be in trouble, people are gonna think that I'm all those things. So like what I tend to do in public is like I crawl, like literally I hold myself like this, like I have such a bad posture, and you know, and I shrink myself, and I want to be more ugly, like I want to feel more ugly. Like it's a weird thing, isn't it? Because you would think like you would want to feel beautiful and magnificent and stuff, but like I'm so afraid of my own light and my own beauty and my own power that I shrink myself in public, and I don't feel comfortable just being my most authentic, sometimes weird, sensual, beautiful self. And so I want to be wearing gym clothes that makes me feel sexy. Like I legit want to wear the most sexy stuff at the gym. I mean, not the most sexy, but like gym clothes that are efficient for my trainings. But I want to feel good about myself, and I want to be able to go in my deep stretches on my own, and knowing that I'm doing it for me because I want to feel good in my own skin. And so when I saw this video, it triggers all of that I was experiencing at the moment. But getting into the conversation with those men was actually super interesting. And that is just another building block in this whole exploration of relationships, polarity between feminine and masculine, between what I want in a partner, in a man, between men and women, and between, you know, healing my relationship to the masculine and to men, and learning how to love them and respect them and change the narrative I had, and you know, going out of feminism and all the things. So here I am having those conversations, and I've seen myself kind of, it was like a graduation. I was like, oh my God, I got this. Because usually I would feel like, oh my God, people disagree. Oh my God, I'm gonna die if I don't have other people's approval, or all of this. And I was just like, let's hear them out. It doesn't mean I have to agree with their opinions and the way they're saying stuff, but they have something to share. And I'm just like, yes, for the openness. Like I just love being like that a lot more than just when I'm like super stubborn and, you know, rejecting and judging people. And I was like, where are they coming from and stuff? And I realized how deeply men are hurting from feminism and from that idea that women are superior and we're better, and like all men are bad and wrong, and where are the good men and where are the real men? And I realized the impact of this constant criticism and judgment. And that's, if you explore a little bit the field of polarity, feminine, masculine, what I've heard the most, and I've dove so deep, I've listened hours and hours and hours and hours of podcasts and books and, you know, content about men talking about what, you know, where they struggle the most in relating to the feminine is the constant judging and criticizing. Like, that is technically the worst thing you can do to a man. I've heard that many times, and I guess there are so many other things that you can do to a man that is not great. Just like for a woman, like what I'm hearing the most is like wanting to be held and received and protected and provided for, and like this, you know, so she can be in her feminine. They cannot fully be in their masculine if we're constantly trying to control them. It kills their leadership, it kills their power. And they may act very differently than we do, or feel differently, or have like hormonal and biological differences from us. Like, that's what I realized. Like, we will never be the same. Like, I don't want to be a feminist. I don't want to fight for like being equals, because we will never be equals. Never. And I don't think one is better than the other. We are somehow equal and like similar, but we're not. Like, our bodies, our biology, our hormonal structure, our conditioning, our programming, the cultural thing, like if you're a man or a woman, is very different. I don't want to fight to be a man, and I don't want that we fight for men to be more like women. What I see more and more in this society, and for now it's just the lens that I'm seeing things through. I didn't think that even a few months few months ago, but it's like I see this society where men are pushed to be more feminine, like more in tune with their emotions and more creative and more like, you know, and we see it everywhere. Like, it's subtle, but the programming about creating weak men is very strong, and creating more masculine women, hustler, and we don't need men and we don't need anybody, and we are disconnected from our emotions because we need to perform and have a life and become rich and successful. Always intention, like not intention, like experiencing tension, being tense inside. And I think it's such a shame, and that is, you know, that pains me, because living as a woman, I've been through all those archetypes. I've been the hustler, the overachiever. Like, I've been in my feminine when I was younger, then disconnected from that because I wanted to be a boss babe. Then, you know, being a hippie, and then being like genderless, like, you know, genders and feminine, masculine doesn't matter, polarity doesn't matter. Then going back to polarity, then I've experienced it all, and not all of it, but a lot of it. And being in that conversation was really, really eye-opening for me. I realized, like, this ownership and taking responsibility as a woman of like what we've done to men is so much more powerful than being stuck in the goddess archetype of like, I'm so much better and I demand to be treated with respect, and I want this, I want that, but I'm not able to provide the kind of reverence, respect. Like, when I see women like asking, demanding respect, love, compassion, reverence, like they literally say that they want men to bow to them, but they're unwilling to give love, compassion, respect, reverence, and bowing to men. I'm like, wait a minute. And we're not in this war of like who suffered the most and like trying to prove a point. Like, what we want is coming together. When we break those spells of separation, we can see and we can experience more compassion, more forgiveness, and so much power. Because again, living with a womb and a cycle makes me extremely different from a man that has like a hormonal structure that is based on like 24 hours. Like they will experience this linear experience of their biology, their hormonal, their emotions. I am cyclic. Like I have a cycle. I flow, I fluctuate. That's literally in my biology, in my body. The fact that I possess a womb, like a recipient, and being the portal to birth life, makes me different from a man that is the penetrative force of nature, the leader, the provider, the protector of our society. It's just different energies, and it's nice to play with them without getting so attached to them. It doesn't mean I cannot provide. It doesn't mean I cannot penetrate the world with my presence. I have an inner masculine as well. I have an inner man that I take care of. But honestly, what I want to experience more of right now is that soft and surrendered, and being more in my feminine, because it feels more natural. It feels better in my system. The thing is, society doesn't really value that. The way I grew up, the conditioning, the school, the education I received doesn't value that. Doesn't value rest, intuition, connection with nature, nurturing, loving, hopeful, creative. Like we don't value that. We value hard work and success and money and status and like power, more masculine qualities. So it's just too big of a topic to get into all the implication of that conversation and what it awakened in me. You see how I live my life though? Like one little thing and I go into those like expansion of consciousness and overthinking, maybe just thinking and being in that philosophy of life of like what, you know, like what is awakening inside of me and like how I can learn from it and how we can expand my wisdom basically. So again, I don't own any truth and I'm still learning and I'm like gathering pieces of information here and there. And that was a nice one where instead of blocking the mean men on the internet, I actually listened to what they had to say, and I've seen like pain and suffering and how they want to be treated with the same respect that we are demanding as women and as like goddesses and like claiming our power. And I'm gonna just finish on that. I wrote this beautiful poetry about, I haven't shared it yet, but I wrote this poetry as well, talking about the dark masculine and like the wild man. Because I see so much of the wild woman being birthed and, you know, the reclamation of like, you know, crawling in the dirt and being wide and free as the feminine. And we want men to be able to hold that. And we actually blame them and point fingers at them being like, they can't hold us, they're not good enough. And like, they should be able to receive all of us and we want to be met in that. Are we willing to do the same for men? Because they have a lot of wild inside of them too. They have a lot of violence inside of them. Like, I don't know if you've ever been confronted with men anger. It's so different. The flavor of it is so different from women anger. Like they're both powerful, like rage, anger, they're powerful emotions that helps us transform when they're used or like experienced in a healthy way, you know, when they're not like overpowering everything and overdriving in the world and creating like a lot of suffering and a lot of pain. But this violence of men is what protects us. And I think I shared it already, but I'm going to share it again because, woo, what was that? Okay, so I've developed a strong attraction to a very masculine man, probably the most masculine man I've ever experienced in my life. And that's what I'm like drawn to naturally right now because I'm expanding in my feminine. And so this polarity is just like so irresistible. And I've seen him angry, mad. And usually I will freak out. And like, I don't know how to handle anger and male anger. Like it would, like my whole body contracts. And this time I was like, this man can protect my babies. Like that, almost this biological response to it of like, whoa, like this is the protector energy. I feel like the masculine energy is really like provide and protect. And in order for them to be able to step into that and their power. And we want real men, but then we're like emasculating them all the fucking time because we're scared. And the way they disrespect us and the way we disrespect us is because we don't always understand each other, and we don't all and we fear each other when we are in our full power. But when we transcend that fear, go from fear into love, like it's fucking amazing. It's an explosion of power, of like polarity coming together and working in like this yin and yang thing. That's how I'm gonna finish this conversation. It's such a deeper conversation to have because basically it's just me talking about my own opinions, and I would need to debate. You know, I would need to have like other input to go even deeper in that. And it's seeing things from like all perspective and all dimensions. Like it's like a diamond. You can see it through all the facets, and it's still the same diamond, right? We're talking about consciousness, we're talking about wisdom, we're talking about love, we're talking about God, spirituality, about personal development. But you have so many ways to see it and to approach this truth, our own unique truth, that it's complex. And I love this complexity, and I love being able to bring it into my channel and to have those longer conversations. Because like I see on Instagram, like everyone is creating reels and TikToks. It's like 9 seconds of like, I'm telling you the truth in one sentence and you better believe it. And I love to be rambling about things. I love to go on so many different tangents. That's my feminine, and that's what I'm passionate about. So I hope you enjoy going into like all the things. I hope that it awakens things in you. I would love to hear what is your process, because I know in my circle, a lot of us are doing this work to love men better, and a lot of us have been really deeply wounded by the men, and we have so much masculine healing to do. But I know some people, very few, but it comes naturally. Like they never had that. They never even questioned that. So I wonder, what is your conditioning about that? What did you learn about loving men and the masculine and the feminine, and how you relate to those energy within you? That would be so interesting to discuss that in the comment below. And if you want to explore deeper all of that, remember that I have my online offer, Becoming Her, that will help you to navigate those polarities within you and so much more. You will explore boundaries and like pleasure, and that is that power reclamation of being unapologetic. I'm in the process right now of building Soft and Surrendered, which is like super aligned with everything I shared, because it's how we can be more soft and surrendered, how we can lean into our feminine and melt into that, especially for people like me that have been stuck in the strong, independent, badass, boss babe archetype for so long. And I have also money healing and soulmate client attraction in terms of online programs, and probably many more to come depending on when you're looking at this video. So you can check out that on my website. If you want some one-on-one support, I also have a few spots for one-on-one that are open at the moment. So you can just send me an email and we can connect and jump on a call and connect and see if we're a match for each other, if I can help you on your journey, and if we're the right fit for each other. With that being said, more love, more compassion, less internet fights. Or if we do, we stay open and we actually receive everyone's opinion. And more love. Mwah.